Here are some land transportation can be found in the Philippines: kalesa, jeepney, bus, trains like LRT, PNR, MRT, tricycle, e-tricycle, beep, wagon jeep, padjak or pedicab, and lastly, motorcycle. Kalesa is a two-wheeled horse-drawn carriage used in the Philippines, and according to historical accounts, it was first introduced in the Philippines during the 18th century by the Spaniards. During the said era, kalesa serves as a luxurious mode of transportation that the nobles, rich, and the high ranks official can afford. But in modern times, it is mostly ridden by the tourists as part of the tourism attraction. Another mode of transportation, jeepneys, or sometimes called as jeep. It's also known as the king of the road. It is the cheapest, most popular, and iconic public utility vehicle in the Philippines. It also became the symbol of the Philippine culture and art. An average jeepney can normally seat 20 adult passengers, but in the remote areas in the countryside where the transportation is insufficient, jeepneys are typically overloaded. Bus is one of the public transportation in the Philippines. There are three types of bus service within the Philippines, namely as provincial buses, city buses, and the point-to-point buses. Provincial buses routes from city to distant towns and provinces, while the city buses routes within Metro Manila, and the point-to-point buses is routes within the city of Manila, where one pick-up point and one drop point. Moreover, buses in the Philippines are privately, so there are different bus lines that you can choose from. Another popular mode of public transportation in the Philippines is motorized tricycles, or simply tricycles. It is known in the rest of the world as a motorcycle and sidecar. Tricycle is the most popular means of transportation in small towns and cities, especially in rural areas. Tricycles are built in varieties of styles, which differ from city to city, and usually made locally by building a sidecar and affixing to an imported motorcycle. They are colorful, which reveals the artistic nature of the country's local. Electric tricycles, or e-trike, is a three-wheeled electric vehicle that is used to ferry a few passengers in short distance inside streets. The three-wheeled electric vehicles are aimed to replace the petrol-powered tricycles that have ruled the Philippines side roads for decades. Taxi cab, also known as taxi or cab, is a vehicle for hire with a driver used by a single passenger or a small group of passengers, often for non-shared ride. A taxi cab conveys between locations of their choice. These differ from public transport, where pick-up and drop-off locations are decided by the service provider. Taxi cabs, they vary from models and uses. Most taxi cabs have yellow-colored license plates, taxi signs, LTFRB registration number, and a taximeter, which is mandatory in every cab. Beep Jeep is a modern public utility vehicles that run purely on electricity supplied by rechargeable automotive batteries. Although they are more closely resemble minibuses, they are called electric jeep, eco-friendly version of iconic mode of public transport in the Philippines. That though e-jeep or e-jeepneys may not look or sound like their colorful predecessors, they could be the new kings of the road. Pedicab o padjak is another means of transportation in the Philippines, which is generally refers to human-powered tricycles designed to carry passengers and goods. Transportation is commonly allowed to travel in secondary seats, small towns, villages, or areas that jeepneys and buses are prohibited. Pedicabs have a capacity of 2 or 3 persons per ride. Habal-habal is a local dialect for motorcycle taxis or motorcycle for hire, which means sitting close to each other. Habal-habal is a highly improvised two-wheeled single motorcycle, usually ridden beyond its capacity. Since it is used as public transportation, especially in areas with narrow roads and steeper, rougher terrain, it could be possibly carry up to 6 passengers. Angkas is a motorcycle ride-hailing platform that helps provide mobility for Filipinos in one of the most traffic congested countries in the world.